Mikheil Saakashvili was appointed governor of Ukraine's Odessa region in February to fight corruption. The former Georgian president might even be considered for higher office. We talked to him in the major Black Sea port city.
Many people in Ukraine are asking why Saakashvili became governor of Odessa when there are so many things to do against corruption in Kyiv.
Odessa is strategically amazingly important. Both for Ukraine, but unfortunately also for the country that invaded Ukraine, Russia. And the problem here is that Putin's vision of his project Novorossiya includes Odessa as its linchpin. So first of all, we need to safeguard and make sure that Odessa stands, that it doesn't fall. Because if this region falls, then I think Ukraine will be in major trouble and the whole region might go. Not only of Ukraine, but of the Black Sea, Caucasus and the others. That's why we need to safeguard Odessa. And second, the way to safeguard it is also that to develop it. And so we need to do things here.
There are two problems here. One is that there are a lot of pro-Russian people in this region, strong number, huge number. And secondly, a huge problem with corruption and with crime related to the seaport. What are your projects in order to crack down on these huge problems that sometimes maybe are also connected?
I don't think Odessa is by itself pro-Russian. I think what is true here, that they speak Russian. They have Russian cultural heritage. This is true, and this is not a weakness. This is a great strength. Odessa is a major international brand. It's also a very important thing both for Ukrainian and Russian cultures, their histories. And I think that's something that we should capitalize on. Now, with regard to corruption, yes, it's a major issue. This very seaport, this customs that is here, which makes one of the biggest ports on the Black Sea and basically the biggest of Ukraine. It is a major center also for all kinds of smuggling, trafficking. Our estimate is that annually something between 500 million and 1 billion euros is being diverted from state budget, that's to say stolen by corrupt officials, by customs officers, by law enforcement, and of course it's also related to crime.
But it's true that there are some oligarchs, regime people that are being fired. It's true, but it's also true that there is, for instance, the former head of the SBU, of a security service, Nalivaychenko, who was fired, and many Ukrainians didn't understand why, because they think that he was doing a quite good job, and they are afraid that he was fired for not clear reason.
Look,
why?
Just before he fired, Nalivaychenko told me, I'm sending you an SBU group to reinforce you in fighting the corruption and the customs. And I can tell you, I said publicly, I don't want that group to come here. Because more SBU means more corruption. The problem is here, and there was problem until now, that the main smuggling is not even done by the customs or such professional smugglers. It's done by Ukrainian security service. It's done by elements of prosecutor service. It was traditionally done by police. The whole drug trafficking in the city is controlled by the police. And so the law enforcement is not a solution. At this stage, law enforcement is a problem by itself.
In order to crack down on crime, it's very important to have a strong security service. So you don't trust the security service of Ukraine.
At this stage, there's a big problem of trust. However, in August, we'll have a new patrol police in Odessa, which is totally like almost 100% new people, like recruited from the scratch. They are getting now proper training. They'll get proper salaries. We have a new head of police. I ordered him to shut down smuggling from Transnistria. That is very important because most of the criminals and smuggling comes now from Transnistria, the area not controlled by Moldova. And it's a black hole of Europe. We need to, and we are now recruiting new people for the police, and we'll make sure that they have new salaries. We are recruiting new people for the customs. We are recruiting new people from tax service, and we need to give them higher salaries. Well, and there are lots of volunteers in Ukraine. This place has amazing potential.
You're mentioning these groups that which were controlling this oblast, this part of Ukraine, Odessa area. Do you think there is a direct connection between Transnistria, these groups, and Moscow?
Well, certainly the last main potential base for Russian intrusion here is corruption and illegal illicit activities. Because it's basically what Putin calls the Russian world. It's their real soft power is corruption and criminal ties. Indeed, most of the criminal gangs, most of the organized crime people whom we know, many of them might be from Georgia, by the way, here, but they have always traditionally had their ties with Russian mafia and what authorities in Moscow. That has been very well known and documented fact.
Before you mention the importance of as an asset, as a cultural asset of a Russian-speaking population of this region, but don't you think that the Kyiv government made some mistakes and alienated the consensus of a Russian-speaking population of Ukraine as a whole, and of course also of this region?
Obviously, especially immediately in the aftermath of Maidan, some mistakes were made, and but I think that's be changing right now, because people have full awareness that this country is not about ethnicity or just one language. It certainly has state language and it certainly has clear identity, but that identity is based on multicultural, that it's based on people speaking all different languages.
Someone might say that is what you tried to do in Tbilisi and in Georgia, in your own country of origin, but then something went wrong. And,
no, nothing went wrong. I think I'm very proud of what we achieved in Georgia. Yeah. Georgian institutions are the strongest right now, most of them among former Soviet states. Georgia has really built new cities. They have really built a new landscape. So tourism went up 60 times on my watch. And so that's the problem. That's why people invited me here. Well, if the present Georgian government doesn't like me,
why? What is the problem with them?
That's government do change, and some of them are really revanchist or revengeful or basically vicious people. But that doesn't change the whole picture. Georgia still has one of the least corrupt institutions in the Eastern and Europe, and in Europe, one of the safest places still, despite some problems in this region, and still place where people want to go, where people want to invest, and I think my team has created that. And of course, if the teams do change, government do change, but the main measurement of the reform is that if institutions can survive its creators, then they were successful. And that's the case in Georgia for sure.
Someone told me that Mr. Saakashvili wants to become the Prime Minister of Ukraine. Must Yatsenyuk be afraid of you?
Look, there are lots of speculations, of course, I am aware of that, but that's what the nature of politics is. Good thing is that I have real job to do now. I am very much concentrated on it, and I love it. Because it's very challenging, but I love challenges, and the more challenging it is, more excited I get. So that's such a huge number of things to do and achieve here that I certainly will stick to it for the moment and for a long time, and hopefully in some time we can report a real progress here in Odessa on the ground. And of course I'm willing to work with the government in Kyiv, because without meaningful progress also in support of this reform from the government of Kyiv, there can be no change, real change achieved. So yeah, we'll work with them, but certainly we'll work from them from this angle.
Thank you very much,
Mr.
Saakashvili.
Thank you.